Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, so here we are in For the Love of Dragons going live. My name is Araya Anra, and I am the Dragon Lady to many of you. I am definitely a dragon and a guide to work with them. That's why I'm here and why I come to you guys every week to answer your questions, bring you more tools, ways to get connected with the dragons, ways to understand what they're doing with you or for you. To understand your journey, like what you're going through right now, maybe why the dragons are part of it, why they're not, why they've stepped away, why it's gotten quiet, and some of the symptoms and processes and things that are going to be going on in your life during different energetic shifts. So that's part of what I want to bring in and talk about today. I want to remind you that this is a really powerful period. We've got a lot churning, as most of you know, globally, but the most helpful energies right now to work with are going to be the black, the white, and the crystal dragons. And I let you guys know in the last couple of weeks that I actually got the meditations, some guided meditations, some new ones with them completed. They're on the website. A lot of people are taking advantage of them, which is really exciting. But those are what are going to be the really core powerhouse energies to push you through to the other side of where you're at each step of this process. Because we are in a lot of shift. It's consistent, and you know, you've been through shift periods before, right? You've been through phases of integration, you've been through big downloads or transformations and birthings, and you know, you feel like you're always in the new phase of the process. Well, this year it's amped up, right? So we've got this time period where I talked about way back just after the equinox in March, through early April, where we started getting information about what this process is actually looking like, this continuous shift into higher levels of magnetic resonance, into that new earth template, into what's being created. It's not done and ready yet, but it's under construction. It's in its architecture phase. And so it's exciting to see that we're on the horizon of those doors being open. And yes, there are people that are ready. There are light workers and beings that have been going in and out to access it, to touch into it, to feel and explore. What does this dimension look like? Help me remember. And so as that's happening, we are in this consistent periods of growth where we've got constant upgrade, and it's not always upgrading our energetic bodies as much as assimilating them into upper or higher levels of frequency consistently that are different magnetic resonance fields to get to a new radio channel, is how we've described it before. If you're operating here, we need to operate here. And so up to this year, you've probably had maybe a period of 2 years of a specific phase of growth, and then maybe it was a year and a half, and they were slowly getting shorter and shorter, preparing us for this. But now it's hello Willow and hello Liz, I see you both on. Now it's a phase of boom, boom, boom. You're going to be asked to continuously shift, surrender, shift, surrender, shift, surrender. There's so much in this, and I know that for the last 2 or 3 years, everything predominantly in all of that I've been teaching in all of my programs consistently comes through as higher levels of surrender and trust. Why is that? We have to be continuously surrendering and trusting more and more to be able to drop through that doorway of the heart, because we can't have any fear, we can't have any control, we can't have any trepidation or things that would keep us locked in this format. So this higher level of surrender and trust is where we're at right now of, oh my goodness, I am being asked to, like, literally almost every week or every couple of days, feel like I'm going through a new shift where I feel like I'm so up and down, I'm all over the place, what is going on? And that's really what I want to talk about today, is this feeling that a lot of you are going through right now. And what I'm seeing with a lot of clients is that there's almost like a cloud of confusion. And what I want you to realize that if you're feeling like every other day I want to do something different, I don't know what I believe anymore, I don't know what's truth anymore, I feel like I've been taught or shown all of this, and yet this is over here, and now I'm like, I don't resonate with any of it, I want to just throw it all away. This is what's happening right now, and one of my clients beautifully described it as a crisis of faith. And whether you have a faith or not, or a religious or spiritual belief system or whatever, it's not about that faith in that sense. It's that crisis of trust, a crisis of trust in yourself and all that you know to be true and all that you've known to be true in your heart space. So what I want to bring in today is a little understanding of why that's happening. Why do I feel like I can't hold on to anything that I've believed all my life? Why do I feel like I have all these conflicting things within myself that I was really solid in them 2 years ago, I was really solid in this 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden I can't interface it all. I can't bring it all into the same space and be okay. And so part of what's happening, you need to realize, is we're in this state of unifying, right? We've talked about this year being the year of not only balance, but union. Inner union within self, external union with all of yourselves. And as we move into that, what does that entail? Yeah, Willow, crazy times right now for sure. And that's another piece with the external physical reality also creating confusion, chaos, this sense of, I don't know what's happening day to day. Why is that happening physically? Because that's happening energetically. If we don't know what's happening day to day and we are constantly living in the moment, in the spur of like, maybe the store is going to be open, maybe it's not. Maybe the campgrounds are going to be open, maybe they're not. Maybe I'm going to have a job, maybe I'm not. Whatever those are that are up in the air, they're all balls bouncing, that's exactly what your energy body is feeling like right now as well. Like boom, 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 all these balls bouncing in the air. They're reflective of each other. And our own personal journey is always reflecting the collective and vice versa. So there's mirrors all around you. But what I want to help you, give you a little mental piece today is the aspect of remembering you're unifying. You're pulling into yourself all of the incarnational experiences you've had, whether in this plane or others. Because if you're merging with your light body to move into a fifth dimensional expression, then everything that your light body has experienced is going to be part of that, which is why you're going to start remembering more and more of your other incarnational aspects, whether it's in this universe or another one. You're going to start remembering more of your lifetimes in this timeline. And you're probably having more flashbacks or awarenesses or being reminded of something you learned 10 years ago about something that was in Tibet or Mongolia or India or Egypt or Africa, wherever it was, that those are now coming sort of front and center, and you might be in your dream state realizing you're getting flashes or like something's happening where I'm integrating. I don't know what, I can't bring it back. That's happened for me every night this week. I have a really deep state of sleep. I know there's tons going on. I know I come back with only the piece, like it's very connected to my integration. It's very connected to my shift forward. And it's like a constant, like working through final pieces, letting go, letting go, letting go. So there's a question there from Willow. So do we need to do more grounding with this new energy? So let me talk about that. And hello, Robin and Adrian. So in this unification process, what I want you to really remember is that all of these different incarnational aspects have had different belief systems and structures. So if you're concurrently in a specific, say you're in Atlantis and you have a certain belief system about the sets of ways that the divine is worshipped or technology is used, or you have a shaman lifetime down in South America, or maybe in Lemuria, or even concurrently, like maybe not so long ago, maybe in the 1200s, maybe in the 1600s, and you had a Christian background, or a Catholic background, or a Muslim background, or a Hindi background, or Egyptian goddess background. All of those belief systems now that you go and experience, because you're a spiritual being typically, and you reach out for those spiritual expansions and understanding in the culture that you're in. So if you are now trying to integrate all of those in, it's going to create this big cloud of confusion of this, I don't even know where I sit with a belief in God anymore, or wow, how can I work with all these masters or these gods or goddesses, or maybe I don't even buy into any of that, and maybe there's dragons and maybe there's angels and maybe there's none of it. And that's the kind of confusion that's going on right now. But the clarity came in understanding, like, all of these different facets of yourself have had all this exposure, and it's to gain wisdom. That's what our soul is doing. It's gaining wisdom and exposure and hopefully making loving choices. So all of these are up in the mental cloud, right? They're all part of the higher bodies. So they all have to come in and integrate in. They all have to find their facet of where they are in your geometry. As we've talked before, your single individual being has a specific geometry signature. Your signature is made up of multiple parts, but geometry is a basic part of it that from fifth dimension and beyond is visible. You can see the geometry within every living conscious being, whether it's a tree or a person or an animal, in that fifth dimensional space. So in that geometric that you are, every one of those facets of that geometry that makes you the complex being that you are, especially if you've had many incarnations and are a very old soul, we like to call it, then you're going to have a lot more coming into the geometry. And it's all coming in right now because this is the integration time. This is the unification process. We're finally in it. So it would then make sense that all of these have very different parameters. They had very different understandings and structures. And maybe they were spiritually advanced, maybe they weren't. Maybe they were very simple. Maybe they were a fisherman in Portugal and life was very simple, and then you integrate with these parts of yourself that have had very complex understandings as a Buddhist monk somewhere in another time slot. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that all was connected in here. And so it's like all of yourselves meeting each other and going, all right, we have to have a way to bring all these in and assimilate them in. So just know that that's the bigger picture of what's going on. Do you have to understand it all? Do you have to grasp it? No. The lesson really right now, and this goes back to your question, Willow, is how do I deal with it? Deeper level of surrender. Your higher self has got this. Your highest self already knows and has it integrated. So Willow's saying, I'm for the first time in more than 20 years remembering most of my dreams. Fantastic. Yes. And weaving. Exactly, Andrea. It is a weaving. It's a weaving into your own geometric. It's a like waking up of all those facets, because all of those are need to be part of you as you move into the new expression, right? As we shift into remembering and being all that we are in all of that. So how do we get there? We surrender and we trust more deeply. And in the grounding aspect, I will tell you that part of what's happening right now, and I apologize, I can't remember which groups I've talked about to which specific things, but there's a piece of ourselves that is ungrounding in the way we've always grounded into earth. We have consistently put a grounding cord down. We connect down linearly into the earth. She anchors us. She's been our tether and held us firmly on the surface of the planet, especially in our spiritual expansion when we've wanted to go way out. When we go way out here, we need a ground and we feel it here, and then we're like, okay, now I can reach out and bring all that down to me, but it's because I'm tethered. I'm here. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you for that. She's been gifting us with that. But now, as we go through, we need to ground differently. We need to pull the grounding cord, pull those roots up out of Gaia, both as a gift to her, because that releases her responsibility for tethering you, and it allows her to be lighter in her body and move forward. But as we move into the new, as you go into those spaces, especially in your dream time, when you're stepping into and maybe reaching out into that new template to get a feel for it, dip your toe in the water. Whoa, what does this feel like? What do I need to be doing to be fully ready for that? So as you're going there in your dream state, you are actually starting to put down a grounding in a different way. Because the new earth crystalline grid, the whole core of it is all the way out. The entire central part of the planet under the surface is crystalline, or diamond now, actually, in its highest expression. And that new template then, as it's diamond, we ground differently. Yes, exactly. We've been telling you, that came through in book club today, this discussion, like the way of a beautiful analogy to talk about it. So it's fresh in my brain to share with you guys. But when we go into the new grounding space, because it's crystalline, what would happen if you set your energy down in as if you were grounding in the old way? It would spike out like snowflakes into a network. And that's exactly what it's meant to do, because the new template is about community. It's about cooperation, community. Everyone is part of one. Thus, we have a network of grounding that we go into that feeds our energy, our thoughts, our ideas, our input into the network communally. We're also receiving from the network communally of everybody else's ideas, which is how we are going to be in harmony. It's about how we connect and interconnect, because it's already part of the framework. And so it's a new way. It's a networked way. If you imagine yourself like having tree roots, except they look like snowflake crystals that go down into the earth. It's a lighter framework. It's more communal minded, and it's allowing Gaia to actually step into that place to ground with you and allow her to expand into that and spend more time there, as well as we pull up our roots from here and let her release us. We also release her, because she has held this template. Remember, it's supposed to be a symbiotic relationship with her, right? But we have been sort of more of a parasite than symbiotic, and been taking from her. So now we get to give back and actually be in harmony and be in symbiosis, but we have to release her to go as well. So always thinking, my picture, I'm ungrinding, wow, she's benefiting from that too. We both are as we move forward. So that was sort of a little side subject that ended up coming up because of a great question there, Willow, and wanting you to focus mainly on, as this cloud of confusion comes in, as all these aspects of like, I don't even know what to believe anymore, I don't know what's up from down, what's right from left, what's in front of me right now, what's present, what's future, wow, it's all so crazy and confusing. Center. Drop down and center in your heart space and trust. Surrendering and trust. Those are the key two things to stay in right now, because you have to trust your higher self. Your higher self is actually been guiding you to this point so that you can merge with it and then pull it into the new space. So you just have to keep trusting. So that's my main focus for today. Thanks for bringing all your questions in. And some of them scrolled through very quickly, so if there were questions that I missed in the feed, I will address those either next week or in the comments. But thanks for being here. Hello, Linnell. Good to see you. And always look forward to it. I will see you next Thursday. And definitely take advantage of the new meditations. The Black, the White, and the Crystal Dragon meditations on the site right now are very powerful. And I am actually also, for those that are French speakers or listening, we're working on getting the YouTube videos translated so that there's at least running text in French, and hopefully that will lead to other languages if people need them. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, Anna. It's fantastic. But those meditations, they're a powerful tool, and they will take you to the spaces that you need to right now. And I think that's it for today. So if you have questions, please message me. I love coming every week and talking to you guys. Hello, Lisa. I haven't seen you in a while. But I think this information will hopefully be helpful for all those, even if you know folks that aren't connected to dragons, this energy specifically, even though we're supported and have our guides as dragons, this is something that's going on for everybody. They're all in this integration process. So feel free to share this out to friends of yours that you know would benefit, that you know they're in a strange space in their mental or emotional or energetic body, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Help them drop into that. Help them hear that explanation, or just take what I've said and share it with them at least, so that they have that little piece, because sometimes we just need that one little bridge of mental click in to go, oh, okay, I can surrender into that. Got it. So looking forward to next week. Have a fantastic weekend. I know in this northern hemisphere we're enjoying some beautiful weather finally, and for those of you heading in the south hemisphere into winter, I feel for you. I send you a warm dragon hug and a big warm dragon breath to keep you toasty through the night. So sending big love. Thanks for being here. I love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.